Heights, they used to have rent parties. This was in the late 30s, during the 30s, and it carried on during the 40s and then the early 50s. It even went into the 60s, where they would have rent parties. They'd be all over the community. People would pay to get into the party, and the sponsor would pay their rent with the fees that they collected. But most of the revenue came from the food that they sold at these rent parties. They'd be all over town. You could run out of nighttime before you ran out of parties to attend. There would be so many of them, and they even had what they call waistline parties. Whatever your waistline was, they measure you at the door, and that would be your admission, and that was all about fun, dancing and etc. And the parties were recorded music, and you know, there would be like a disc jockey. His job wasn't speaking on a microphone like they do today, or dubbing the music. It was just playing records. You put on a stack of records and you dance to those.
When did the rent parties start to drop off?
When people started robbing the sponsors, it became very dangerous, and that they disappeared with that. We're talking probably the late 60s, early 70s. The community became a different thing. It wasn't as sociable, it wasn't as friendly, sociable as it was before. Something else happened in that same time span. The neighborhood was saturated with drugs, and that was part of the crime, contributing to the crime factor. The drugs were here, and that was fine until as long as it stayed in this community, the black community. But when it tripped over into the Caucasian community, it became a problem. And society became, as long as it was in the black community, it was fine. But that didn't work too well. So we still have the same situation today. We still have people trying to figure out how to pay rent. And we still have drugs all over the place. And it's going to be here.